What's going on, everybody? It is the first episode of 2025. Today we have a good friend of mine, Marc Sample, on. Marc Sample, we follow each other on Instagram for like 4 or 5 years now. Marc's primarily into bodybuilding, and where did he compete and win?
It was the NPC Natural Northern USA Championship Classic Physique overall winner. That's what he was.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, a lot of words.
A lot of words. So we're going to have a good conversation with Marc today, talk some bodybuilding, and also he's kind of into strength sports as well. I've seen videos of Marc deadlifting like over 700 pounds.
It's crazy.
Which is insane. So, all right, welcome to the show, Marc.
Welcome to the show. Man, look at those trophies behind you.
We're in the trophy room.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah, got a trophy room. Is that the Conquer Arnold?
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
Like, hell yeah, man. Yeah, dude. Hey, first and foremost, thanks for being on. Like we were just talking about, we've been following each other for a while, for years, man. I've been blown away by your content. I mean, physique mixed with the strength. It's insane, man.
I appreciate that.
Like I've been telling Ethan, and like I was just mentioning you, anytime, I take inspiration from that. And anytime I'm like, all right, I want to lock in and kind of get some guidance from somebody that's established, you can vouch for me. I've hit you up, man. I'm like, hey, try to get a meal plan or something going because this guy knows what he's talking about.
I appreciate that. I feel like
man.
There's a lot of like bad influencers out there and like bad coaches. So like to have someone that actually knows what they're talking about,
right.
it's pretty rare. So
yeah, you definitely have the credibility, man. I mean, just seeing your physique and I've seen you literally go through like a bulk and a cut, and I'm like, it's just such a smooth process. I'm like, I could tell this dude's bulking right now. I could tell the cut's going well.
Oh my god!
I'm like, somehow he's still able to deadlift 700 pounds.
That's one thing that always stays, like my deadlift strength, like my leg press, my hack squat, all that stuff will usually kind of go down as I cut, but those deads, they always kind of stay. So
yeah, man,
for
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
What got you into lifting initially?
Initially I played football, so that was kind of like athlete, football, basketball, I ran track, and kind of like I always wanted to take it like to the next level. So like I always had like dreams of professional sports and things like that, but I was never that good. Like I was a pretty decent player, and I would call myself like a pretty great player, at least in high school. But then once I got to that next level, everyone's a great player. So it's like, oh, okay. I kind of like fell in the mix of things, but that's kind of what sparked like me to actually like pick up a weight and things like that. But I'm really thankful that honestly, like we'll probably talk more about like genetics and things, but honestly, as soon as I like looked at a dumbbell, like my body just responded, So like, and once I kind of saw like that,
shit, I'm jealous again.
Those genetics play a huge role, especially anything like performance style training, any like bodybuilding, all that good stuff. So, but I was just really thankful that I found it at that age, and then it really just clicked for me. So
nice. Do you have anybody in your family that's been very athletic or into bodybuilding or lifting in general, or are you the first one?
Nothing bodybuilding, powerlifting, but I have some professional athletes in my family, some college athletes in my family. So it all just kind of was more performance style for me, but I'm the first like bodybuilder. So
gotcha.
What was it like when you first got on that stage, when you were competing for the first time? Like, what is that feeling like?
Very first show is funny because like I did bodybuilding for my very first show, like the full mankini and everything. So like I walk out there, I got my tan on, I got the oil on, I'm all oiled up, ready to go. Walk out the center stage. First person I see is my mom. Just looking at me like full mankini. I'm just like, oh, what's up? This is your son. But like, no, that was like my first experience bodybuilding. I did a natural show in Michigan. I actually won like novice, true novice, the overall for bodybuilding, overall for classic. And kind of like from that show, basically I kind of knew like, okay, I could do something with this in the future. But yeah, first show I saw was my mom.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, that's so when you first started lifting, were you lifting for football, or did you kind of know from the get-go, like, all right, I'm kind of attracted to bodybuilding and this is something I want to dig deeper into?
It kind of started with football, and then like I kind of saw how I was looking, and it was basically just a byproduct of me like strength training. But it really all started just like improving my performance, get stronger, bigger, faster, all those good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started with football.
Gotcha. Did you always were you always kind of strict on a diet, or back then when you were first starting, was it like, I just eat whatever and lift, and was your body still responding pretty well?
Bro, hell no. I didn't follow any kind of diet. I was like straight, like I was eating man, I know at college I was eating like Oreos and protein shakes. That was like my
Really?
biggest thing. But kind of like that's what honestly, and like kind of going off topic somewhat, but that's what changed my physique is like actually paying attention to the diet and like making sure you're getting that protein in, because like your genetics get you so far, your work ethic in the gym gets you so far, but if you lock in on that diet, you'll really see a huge change, whether you're bulking or cutting. Like that's the biggest thing I can give anyone.
Absolutely.
It's like the biggest part of it is like in the kitchen, you know, especially if you're
100%.
cutting for sure. What does your diet plan look like right now?
I have a lot more freedom right now because I'm kind of coming off a show that I did in November. But it's like a slow transition to like a bulking phase essentially, and then I do want to step on stage again in this year, 2025. So that actual cutting phase probably won't start until about the spring. But right now, just kind of slowly transitioning into like a bulk stuff.
How long do you usually take to cut? Like, I know because I've seen a lot of your videos, man. It's like clear as day. I'm like, yeah, I can tell he's bulking right now. And then when you're cutting, it like happens so quick.
Yeah, you see like my
like
face
man,
will
like
just
he's
be, like,
dialed in.
gone, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it's time to cut. My last couple of shows I've done, I've taken a full 20 weeks for prep, just because I feel like when you're doing it natural and you're trying to do it like but when you're trying to keep the most muscle as possible, you kind of need that longer duration. You could get it done in 12 weeks, but it's going to be a rushed, like very aggressive cut. So I'd say like 20 weeks usually for me is a good spot, as long as I don't get too heavy off season wise, but usually about 20 weeks.
What's like a heavy weight for you? Like when you're like, all right, I'm bulked up, like this is kind of where I want to be, or maybe I'm taking this a little too far. Like kind of what's that heavy weight?
I'd say like the most I got to recently, I got to like 235, 240.
235.
And I was kind of out of breath walking up the steps. So I feel like that was a little too aggressive for me. But where I want to stay, it's kind of where I'm at right now, like 215, 220. Because I still feel like I still look relatively lean, and then I still have my strength and everything. So
that's awesome, man. What's like your stage weight when you did
last show? I did nationals in Virginia, and I made middleweight, and the weight cap is 176 and a quarter.
Oh shit!
And I was 176 on the dot.
Oh my gosh,
176, and to think you're 215 right now.
Right? It's like you see the huge disparity like between.
Yeah,
I'm normally not that lean. Like I would say I got down to that 176, and then on stage I was probably about 182, 185 once I was like carved back up and everything. So.
Damn, man, you're getting close to like my weight range because I'm shorter. I'm 5'6", and I'm like, I sit around like 160, 170. My heaviest was 200 at one point.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay.
And this was when I got out of the Army. Yeah, it's powerlifting, the OG powerlifting days, 200 pounds. I was like stepping on the scale like, oh, God.
I know the feeling all too well. I know the feeling.
Yeah, it's wild, man. One thing about like natural bodybuilding, I always see memes and people talking about it. It's like with me too, once I start getting lean and I start losing weight, it's like I look at myself in clothes, man. I'm like I look kind of small. And then I like take my shirt off or something or get a pump. I'm like, okay, we can work with this. I'm looking decent now. It's like, man, it's kind of a struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely like a mind game when you're going through, especially like natural, because like you'll kind of look like you don't lift, essentially, like in a hoodie or like an oversized or something like that. But like when you kind of like reveal your physique, you see like the shirt, you see like your striations and everything, then it's like, oh, okay, maybe this is worth it, But like you definitely go through those stages where it's like you feel very small and people are asking you like, oh, like, are you okay? Like, are you sick or what?
Are you sick? Yeah, it's like your face starts getting, your eyes getting sunken in, your face is getting slim, and you're just like you said, skinny in a hoodie.
Skeletor.
Yeah.
Did you always do like bodybuilding when you started, or did you train any differently?
I did. I really was more like performance style, like kind of more powerlifting, to be honest, and that's kind of what I was going to gravitate towards. But honestly, I kind of got injured, and that's what kind of like led me away from that route, because that's where I initially wanted to do, was be more on like the platform as opposed to be on stage. But me getting injured kind of just threw that off for me. But I started as like more performance style training and like powerlifting wise, but now I'm like straight hypertrophy. But you might see me throw some deadlifts in there now too, but still more of like the higher rep range.
Do you still bench press a lot? I know you squat often, right? But do you bench at all much?
No flat bench. I do, honestly, like I don't hit chest very often just in general, because I feel like it's kind of an overdeveloped body part on me.
Yeah.
But when I do some chest things, it'll be more of like an incline press or like a dumbbell press, a lot of machine stuff, but nothing like too crazy on it, just because I don't want that to be such an overbearing like body part on me, especially if we're doing classic and bodybuilding, because sometimes it doesn't come down to like who's the biggest guy, but who has the best like symmetry, who has the best proportions. And when you have a body part that's like super developed, like if my chest is super developed and my shoulders kind of suck, then it just knocks you down. Your physique looks awful, and kind of just you won't win any films like that. So
we were just talking to a guy last episode or a couple episodes ago about, you know, as far as bodybuilding, how a lot of bodybuilders shy away from barbell squat or deadlift just because of how it kind of creates that blocky waist and it kind of like messes with your physique a little bit. And we were talking with him too about how a lot of bodybuilders don't do flat bench just because, you know, kind of the shoulder injuries that, you know, benching is likely to cause. And then how you don't get a lot of that upper chest increment, you know.
Oh, yeah.
How it's kind of like you're kind of lacking in the upper chest. And so a lot of, I mean, bodybuilders, right, you guys go to incline movements.
I would say like what he said 100%. Most bodybuilders like the injury thing where the risk reward of you doing a barbell squat, a barbell deadlift, a barbell bench press, it's not really worth it in the end. But and then on top of that, like if you really want like a chest development move or a chest developer, I don't really think a flat barbell bench is going to be your most optimal choice, just because like it's more of a strength builder or power movement than an actual like hypertrophy based exercise. But I would say I still like I have my clients do it. I recommend people do it. But if you're really trying to like sculpt your physique, essentially, I don't think it's really a necessary movement.
I've always looked at it like that too. Like just with me kind of doing more so powerlifting style training for the past 5 years, I've always done bench just as a strength aspect. Like, all right, I want to up my max. I want to get stronger at this. I've never looked at it like, well, I'm going to do this movement to, you know, develop my chest. And honestly, I hardly feel it in my chest when I'm doing it, right? It's like I always feel it the most if I'm doing machines or incline dumbbell press, throwing some push-ups. But yeah, I've always viewed bench as just like, this is just a strength, you know, movement for me.
I'm the same. I've never, when I did used to do it, I wasn't really the strongest presser anyway, but like I never felt it in my chest. It was more of like a tricep shoulder exercise more than anything.
Front delts get fired up.
Oh yeah.
Your shoulder starts killing you.
I know.
And then you start getting those shoulder pains, that left shoulder pain everybody talks about. Like,
Yeah, it's always the left shoulder.
Why?
What's up with that?
Why is that? Like seriously.
Everybody's left shoulder, man.
Especially, dude, on my shoulder when I first started. I mean, it could be form related because obviously if your elbows come out too much, they can cause it. But yeah, it used to be really bad when I started, but I think I've fixed it now. But I have always heard like more like squeezing motions, like more dumbbells is better for physique focus and just that, you know, that contraction and everything.
I'd say I agree with that 100%. Just because, like you're saying, you can feel like the actual movement.
Yeah.
But not necessarily saying like if you don't feel it, like it's not a good exercise necessarily.
Yeah.
I feel like it's all about your progression and like causing that tension and basically like causing like fatigue or whatever. But like, yeah, you definitely want to. You get a better range of motion. It's safer. And you know, bodybuilders are always like, "Oh, I don't want to get hurt. Let me not do this.
Yeah.
Let me wear my belt, strap up, and everything."
Yeah, I when I was benching last year, I hurt my chest a little bit. I know Devin did recently too. It is a little bit risky, but because that was there for a while, it was like a tendon right here, and I don't know, for a while I couldn't bench at all.
Oh,
so
wow.
That sucked.
Was it on a flat?
It was flat, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that was something like yesterday when I talked to you on the phone that me and Devin are kind of interested in doing more like bodybuilding focus. It's partly, well, for me, it's because of that risk with, you know, getting injured and stuff, because I've had too many times where I feel like I've tweaked something from flat bench, or I did hurt my back a little bit at the beginning of this year doing deadlifts. But I mean, that's a form thing. But yeah, like what would you recommend? Like say, you know, we've done powerlifting, you know, usually like since we started. What would you recommend us to start doing, like starting out?
I say you can. I wouldn't necessarily shy away from those movements if you do enjoy them.
Yeah.
But I would say kind of change your rep range. And the biggest thing where I get like with people transitioning from not really powerlifting, but like performance style training into like a bodybuilding phase is they don't do much volume. So it's like you do your 3 sets of 3 on bench. You do, I don't know, like a shoulder press, overhead press, 3x5, and then you do like a body weight dip, and then that's kind of like the whole workout essentially.
Yeah.
When you're doing like, which works. Like if you're strength training, performance style training,
Mm-hmm.
you do that volume, you're increasing each week. That's gonna work. You're gonna get strong. But to really grow the muscle, you just need like higher volume. So you're gonna do 4 sets of 8 instead of like the 3x3. You're gonna go from that flat bench to an incline dumbbell press. You're gonna do 2 sets of cable flies, 1 high to low, 1 low to high. You're gonna just add that extra volume essentially, and that's what's gonna kind of give you that transition into the more hypertrophy phase without you losing all your strength, because you're not doing like the barbell press or anything like that anymore. Because they are good movements. Yeah. I just feel like for a lot of things, people go a little too heavy, a little too quickly. So if you're transitioning that rep range from like a 3 to 5 to like an 8 to 10 or even like a 12 piece, like it's very, very very, very uncommon for you to get injured while still keeping some of that strength that you built up kind of doing that style of training.
Yeah. That's something a lot of people, it shocks me sometimes. You know, I got buddies or whatever, when they go on a cut, they're like, I'm going to try to lose some weight. They're like people have literally told me before, they're like, I'm going to stop lifting heavy and I'm going to do more reps. I'm going to stop benching, stop squatting, I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, you should still do them.
Built that muscle.
Yeah. I'm like, well, first of all, I'm like, it's going to help you preserve what muscle you have and your strength. I'm like, I don't cut them out completely. Right. Or I've had people tell me like, you know, I've been doing SBD and, you know, hitting the weights, and then I'm going to go on a cut and just do calisthenics. I'm like, man, I'm like, you do you, but I don't advise like you should do that, right? Like try to maintain what you built.
Exactly. You want to keep that strength training. You want to keep, you know, even if you change the rep range, you're still going heavy. Like stuff is pretty close to failure. You don't want to do like, if you've never done, the biggest thing for me, I find with a lot of my clients and stuff is like, oh, so I should do more like supersets now, right? I should do like a flat bench mixed with a fly. I'm doing like sets of 15, 20. It's like, no, like unless that's what you've already been doing, like don't deviate from that, man. You're just gonna burn a lot of calories and just be really stringy and small and lose all your muscle, but you'll be lean. Right. But is that like what you really want to do? You know?
Yeah. So I mean, really, I feel like it just boils down to kind of train how you are, and just it's the diet. You're just taking in less calories.
That's it. Yep.
That's how I've tried to look at it the past couple of years too. When I was doing a cut, I was like, well, I'm just gonna train the same. I'm gonna just change up how I eat. You know, eat less calories, but all my training is going to be the exact same. And when I followed that principle, I noticed good results compared to years ago when I was trying to do like fasting and then these weird, you know, like programs where you're lifting like 2 days a week. You know, I was like, man, I look better now just doing what I was doing and just eating less compared to trying these weird ass like training programs I've seen.
Doing that, yeah. It's crazy like how just the diet, like you change the diet. What's even more crazy is like you could keep your same amount of calories essentially. If you're cleaning up those calories, you're eating like a better source of carb, better source of protein, better fat intake. That alone, you'll see your body just start to recomp without you really even messing with a lot of stuff. You know, it's just having that structure goes a long way.
That's something I was wanting to try to do, is kind of do like a body recomp. I think I brought that up to you. I don't remember, but just kind of doing what I've been doing, but cleaning up the calories, right? Making sure I'm like being strict on the protein intake and just seeing the change and doing that for a little bit, and then maybe diving into a cut for the summertime.
And that's the perfect game plan. Just have that little body recomp phase where you're having fun and you're kind of seeing the changes essentially, not necessarily on the scale, but like on your actual like physique. Like that's what I'd recommend before you really start diving into that actual cutting phase.
Right. And like Ethan was talking about, as far as doing powerlifting for a while and just kind of seeing those injuries, I've noticed with myself, you know, like we were talking about, you know, just people going heavy, too quick, too fast, just going super heavy with your sets. I noticed when I was heavier, when I was around that 180, 200 range, I could get away with it.
Oh, yeah.
Now I'm like 160, 165, man. I'm like, oh shit, my back, my shoulder, my left shoulder. It's like I notice it now, and it's like I feel like just years of doing it, it's kind of like I'm kind of getting to the position where I'm like, I want to change it up a little bit. Like I want to try something different. You know, I've been doing this powerlifting stuff, and mind you, I'm still going to train, you know, heavy. I'm still going to do those movements, but it's not going to be like my primary focus.
Yeah,
I think I've been doing it for 6-7 years now, powerlifting style training, and it's like I kind of want to try something different now and just see where this can take me, kind of re-spark that, you know, interest in, all right, hey, this is something new. I might like this more than the power. Exactly. I don't know, but I want to give it a shot and see how it goes.
That's you should really change your style, especially if you enjoy that style of training. Like that's what you want to do, like above anything, like no matter what your goal is. But I'd say like talking about being heavier, when you have just like that cushion on those joints and you're like fully carved up, glycogen's there, like you can come in, not even do a warm up and just go right to the bench and be kind of cool. But like once you get to, like lean and you're feeling every contraction on that bench press because there's just not a lot of body fat there, it's like, damn, bro, I got like 3 warm up sets just to make sure I'm good before you even hop into the set.
Definitely.
When you're like going to compete, do they have you like not drink water, like get dehydrated?
Yeah, honestly, when I made that 176, we did like a water load and then like a water cut.
Oh,
but,
okay.
It's nothing like I've never had to do anything like super drastic and crazy because I'm more on the natural like bodybuilding side. So like, there's not any of these harsh diuretics where like you can't drink water for like 24 hours and you just get super dry and like pass out on stage or anything like that.
So you won. Let me see over here the NPC Natural Northern USA Championship, Classic Physique.
Mm-hmm.
When was that? Was that last year?
That was yep. Last year, 24.
Year. Not last year, yeah. What was that like though? Like when you won, how long were you working up towards that?
It's crazy because I actually did that same exact show, about 2 years ago in 22, and I got my ass kicked. Like
really?
I got for those of you that don't know, if you guys don't know, like that's probably the second or third biggest natural show in the United States. Like that's the one. If you're a natural competitor, you want to get on that big stage, you want to see how you match up. That's one of the shows that you do essentially. So I did that 2 years ago. I got a first call out, but I think I got 5th in bodybuilding and classic like 2 years ago. And I was just very upset, very hurt, probably was like honestly thinking about like not competing just because like, okay, I took my talents to the biggest stage and kind of got destroyed essentially. But came back and did it like this year, had a whole different mindset. Was just really locked in. And one thing too about that show I did in 22, I think I had a 14-week prep. I just didn't look as good as I did for this one, having a 20-week prep for this 24 show. And me kind of coming away with overall after like really getting my ass kicked like 2 years ago, it was just that much more. So I actually kind of like, I shed a little bit of a tear like when they called my name going out there. I hope they didn't have that on the live stream or anything. It was definitely a special moment that I always kind of remember. So, and the trophy's like 7 foot tall. So like,
yeah, that's amazing. I couldn't believe that when I saw that photo. I was like, my gosh, that's a huge trophy.
It was the time bringing that boy like back home because it's in Ohio and then I'm from Michigan. So like, yeah, driving that bad boy back up, fit it in the back of the Wrangler, but it was cool.
So when you were going and prepping for this, and even now, do you utilize a coach or do you do everything yourself?
Oh, I have a coach. Yeah. His name is Tufe Serini. I think it's Farm D Muscle on Instagram, and he's actually one of the like main reasons why I started competing, because he kind of like hit me up after my football career ended. I played college football. I played at Adrian College. I played inside linebacker. Once that kind of ended, he actually hit me up and was like, hey, do you want to kind of continue your like I guess like competing, like doing something like where you're on the stage and all that stuff? And I was like, And he's like, well, you should try this bodybuilding stuff. And I was like, is that the thing where you're like oiled up and you got like mankini and you're up there paused? Like, that's not for me. He's like, no, like not every division's like that. Like, you know, you can wear like the briefs and they have board shorts and all this good stuff. And he was just on me. And I was just like, no way. I'm not like losing my size. And then finally he like convinced me to do it. And that's when I did that very first show. And that was through Tufe. And we've been working together probably since that first one. So about 2019. And,
wow.
He's kind of built his following, built his kind of like coaching just in general through that. So through everything. But yeah, I've been with him. I'll never leave him. Like that's my guy. He knows my body more than anyone else. Yeah. And I would never I know a lot of people that prep themselves for some of the shows, but like you're so in your head and you're hungry and like you think that you look bad when you actually look really lean. So like anyone that does a prep themselves, like kudos to you, because man, guys, it's such a mind game as you're going through those 20 weeks, because you never really think you look that good until you actually like go on stage and you're like, wow, okay, this was actually worth all the cardio I had to do and all that good stuff. But no, I definitely was out on my own. Tufe, he kind of led through all this, so from the very beginning. So
yeah, it's super important, I'm sure, to have kind of like that somebody else keeping you accountable, just because you know, obviously keeping yourself accountable is super important, but like you said, the mind games that go through that process when you're getting really close to the show, and just having somebody to kind of give you that reassurance, like, hey, things are looking good.
Exactly.
Like, you know,
exactly.
how's the workouts? Like, all right, hey, you might think you're looking however, but I want you to know you're looking fucking solid, dude. And it's like having that reassurance, I'm sure, is super helpful. And just somebody to communicate with through the process, right? Like, hey, this is how food's going. This is how training's going. Like, I couldn't imagine going through a process like that just on your own.
People do it. Like, people prep themselves and look amazing too. So like, all respect to them. I could never.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Yeah, when we were talking a couple episodes ago, when we were talking to Marquise, he said like it's very important. Like he always recommended a coach. He said it's way easier to get somebody to like help you with it, do your programs, and tell you what to eat and everything. Yeah, I could not imagine like doing that by yourself. I don't know how anybody has the discipline to do all.
I'm 100% with him on that because it's even like on days I'm the type of like athlete where I don't think I'm doing enough. So like he'll tell me, all right, 5 days a week training. Probably look, there was one point actually where he was kind of like, I usually do 6 days. I'm usually like push pull leg kind of person. But I was just getting very fatigued. Like the workouts are going bad, and I just kept kind of pushing. There was one point where he was kind of like, "Bro, like you already have this great physique. You already have like these great legs." He's like, "Just start hitting it once a week. You know, just 5 days on, one leg day per week. You're just gonna have more energy. You're not gonna be as torn down, run down." And like me thinking like, "Oh, I need to hit him twice. I need to keep the same volume, keep the same weight that I'm doing, even though I'm like 20 pounds lighter." Him being there and saying like, "Hey, you can kind of chill a little." Like he's back, you know, don't run yourself into the ground. Like, and that made a huge, like my physique looked better. I was dropping weight better. Stress was down. So just having someone there to kind of like guide you and even kind of pull you back sometimes. It's just, it's crucial. That separates kind of who wins and who loses, especially on a bodybuilding stage like that. So.
Yeah. I remember on rest days, man, rest days used to be a challenge. I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I'm gonna go do something.
You're like sitting there like 20 or 30.
Yeah, like what am I supposed to do? But yeah, having a coach, that's definitely, you know, if I go into the process of trying out building 100%, like I know I'm gonna need that guidance, kind of somebody to start me off and lead me into the right direction as far as, you know, meal plan, programming. Because it's something foreign to me. And I mean, anybody that's starting it, you know, it's gonna be something completely new. It's like, it's nice, especially if you have a busy lifestyle, to have somebody like basically, essentially, they're like, here's what I need you to do. Now just do it, right? Here's your meal plan. Here's your program. Like, I get you're busy. I did the hard part for you. I just need you to perform now and do it and watch your eating and make sure you're pushing yourself in the gym. And that's it. And that's nice, right? It's nice to
have. Prep is hard. Like, don't get like prepping is hard. It's probably like, I can't really speak on a powerlifting prep, but I know like more so for that, you're feeling your performance. You know, you're taking enough calories, you're taking enough carbohydrates. You're kind of like getting better each training session. Bodybuilding is weird because like you're like making yourself deficient, and you're still trying to keep the same like level of training while you're taking less or getting less and less of a human, essentially. Like you're losing body fat, you're losing actual weight. So like,
I've actually never thought about it like that.
It's very different. And like coming from someone that like played sports, like performance style training, and it's like you're always kind of fueling the workout, get better. This sport is more so like you're not really getting better, you know, during that 20 weeks. You're kind of surviving and just trying to maintain as much as you possibly can. So it's just it's an entirely different mindset that you have to have for a bodybuilding prep to get that level of lean. And then a lot of things I find when I coach like people for preps is like they're used to getting lean. They're used to getting to that body fat where, okay, I look good with my shirt off. I can walk on the beach. Like I feel confident. But once you get that level lean, try to lose another 15 pounds and then you'll be shredded. And it's like, that's a whole different type of like, I don't want to say, but it's like suffering that you go through, even though I hate to call it that because you kind of choose to go on this bodybuilding journey. So I wouldn't say like anyone's like suffering, but it's a tough task to lose more body fat when you're already relatively lean. And it's like doing that over and over and getting ready for these shows. It's like, it's just a different training style for sure. It's a different type of journey.
I'm sure it takes a lot on your mind, you know, as far as just like stress and being irritable. I mean, somebody could probably say the wrong thing to you and you're like, just like ready to blow up, right?
Literally.
What's your go-to after show meal after you're done?
Oh, I love pizza.
Yeah.
Like my favorite, especially like Detroit style.
Oh yeah.
Like the square crust or whatever. But actually, I'm a big donut person too. So after I went to nationals, I actually had a full dozen Krispy Kreme donuts. Like after just housed it like full set.
Hell yeah.
Like all these carbs.
Yeah, like the sugar and everything. Like, and
Yeah.
I have a really like kind of like almost horrible appetite in terms of like I can eat a disgusting amount of food. So when I'm like deprived, that was light. Like 20.
Yeah.
That's an appetizer.
That was why I was so hungry. I was like, "Where's the next meal at? Is that what you guys got?" Like,
Are you a crumble cookie guy?
I'm a crumble cookie guy. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Are you a crumble cookie guy?
I am. Hell yeah.
Everyone hates on crumble, bro. They're all like,
I don't know why.
insomnia. Crumble is legit. Hell yeah.
Yeah, it is.
We did try insomnia that one time.
We did.
I don't think it was as good. I like
No,
crumble.
That's what I'm
crumble's
saying.
better.
Like, not to hate on insomnia is fire, but crumble, bro. You got it's like 1,300 calorie cookie. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
With that.
Different cookies every week. I'm like,
Lit-
come on, what is there to hate about it?
I needed you guys in this argument when I was like talking about it. Just
Yeah, we'll just be looking. We're like, all right, what is it this week? We gotta look. Oh, we're going.
You get excited for Sunday. They have like
Yeah.
that's-
What is the one that we like? The cosmic brownie?
Yeah, because we like Little Debbie snack cakes.
Oh,
Little
yeah,
Debbie
Little
snack
Debbie-
cakes.
yup.
Oh, that
Cosmic
one's
brownie.
bomb.
That's it.
they had that this week, I think.
What?
What? That's it. We're going.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, man. Just to touch on though what you were saying as far as like bodybuilding, it's kind of like, you know, you're losing a little bit of yourself, right? During the midst of that training, and the powerlifting is like just being fueled up. I always mention it because it's so funny. Right when I was getting out of the army, it was eat whatever. You know, it's like the food. I'm like, all right, it doesn't matter what it is. Like, this is fuel for tomorrow's workout. Like this is going to help me feel strong and hit this weight that I need to hit, this 90%, this 95%, or this max attempt. Like whatever I'm eating, I don't care what it is, it's fuel. And that's how I looked at it. And it wasn't healthy, obviously. I mean, I got up to 200 pounds at 5'6", but it's like it worked. Like I felt good. I felt strong. And it's like, I mean, did I make some sacrifices as far as my physique and my health? Of course, but it worked. And that's the funny thing is like I need to break out of that because for years I'm used to that. Well, just eat in the surplus, eat in the surplus, eat in the surplus. It's for fuel for your heavy lifting. So going into bodybuilding, kind of being, you know, deprived a little bit, but knowing that that's just what it's about, it's going to take some time to get used to.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And you'll find too, like as you're going through, you didn't need all this like carbs. You didn't need this excess fuel. You kind of just needed, it was just a mental thing. Like, okay, I ate a full pizza yesterday. I should be able to hit this 90%.
Yep.
You know,
That's
lift
exactly
this.
how I looked at it.
All I really needed was like 200 carbs. I think I'm fine. Like it is a big mental task that you'll kind of go through because you'll be like, man, I didn't eat enough. Like, you know, why do I feel so? But like, you're stronger than you know. There's without having like all those excess calories, those excess carbs, you're a lot stronger than you think, a lot stronger than you know.
Right. Yeah, that was a huge problem for me. I was just eating like crazy, man. I was just calories, like sugar, carbs, everything. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be great tomorrow. I'm like, this is gonna be a good workout. Like having the pizza the night prior.
That's what we would do. We did this program in November called Benchvember that Devin writes, and right before that PR day, man, we were like, all right, let's order some pizza. Let's get it tomorrow. We're gonna hit this PR, and it worked, but it could be mental, you know. So that's just how we thought.
Honestly, like I don't know how I proved that, but I feel like it's very mental. If you feel like, okay, I had all this food, I better hit this, you know, like 4,000 calories.
Yeah. What is your so like as far as your training right now? Like how many days a week are you training? Are you still on the 5 days a week, or is it a little bit different right now?
I've been doing the 5 still. I've still been hitting legs twice. It's just I've kind of had a little less chest, like I was kind of telling you guys. Like I feel like I have like a 4 set of chest workout, and then everything else is more on kind of the weak point training, but still about 5 days on, going through everything. I think eventually once I'm kind of feeling a little stronger, I'll probably go back to the 6. But I've been liking the 5 so far.
Do you do much cardio at all?
So normally off season, like 0, but I feel like the more preps you do, the more times you cut down, it's like you find it's just a lot easier to have those like preps and get lean when you already are lean to start. So like I've been doing a lot more cardio now, probably the most I've ever done like an off season transition. But one thing too, like I know everyone kind of loves the Stairmaster, and that's like kind of like you burn the most calories, you're sweating, you go in there for like 10 minutes, you're already dying. But I've been kind of shifting over from my coach Tufei saying like, okay, try the elliptical. And like the first day he told me to get on there, I just felt so uncoordinated and like so unathletic, because when you're on there, it's arms, you're kind of cooking, you know. And I just felt like I was looking like one of those big hulking bodybuilders that can't move their arms, and I was kind of like, dude, this. First day I did, I was like, absolutely not, we're not doing this. Like, go back to the stairs. But I found that like me doing that elliptical, it was just more of like a full body workout where my legs aren't destroyed, you know, the next day, because I'd rather do like 30-minute elliptical than do that 30-minute stairs. Then like your quads, hamstrings, everything is just destroyed, so you can't even hit legs like the next session. But I've been enjoying the elliptical now. I recommend my clients for it too, just because it's a lot less impact, and you might feel a little goofy and even look a little goofy on it, but it's a much better cardio tool in my opinion.
That was a go-to for me for a lot of cardio. It was like the same thing, Stairmaster. You know, Stairmaster. I like doing incline walking. I get into these phases too where I'd run. Like I don't know if you've ever gotten into running at all. But
no.
Coming from the military, when I was in, it was like, you know, for PT we did so much running and ruck marching, and I don't know, it just I get into these spurts and these phases where I'm like, I'm gonna start running again. I'm like, I'm gonna try it out, and it'll probably last like a month or two, and then I'm just done. It's like, it sucks.
It's a lot of impact. I know
it is. It takes a lot out of you too, like trying to pair that with a full lifting session. Like, Jesus, man, like lifting, whether I do it before or after, it's like, okay, I do a whole entire lift, and like, all right, I'm gonna try to run 2 miles. I mean, whether it's before the lift or after, it sucks.
Oh, it's tough.
Like, I'm just so fatigued. And
that's a whole nother workout, honestly.
It literally is, man. I give a lot of credit to the guys that do the hybrid athlete, because I've tried it. You know, I mean, they're logging 20 plus miles a week on top of doing like bodybuilding style training. I'm like, where's the time? I'm like, how do you have the time to do all this?
I mean, like coming from like athletic background, I did more of like not like distance running, but like the sprinting and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But those days are over. I got a torn up knee. I'm done. Like people want to ask me to play pickup basketball. I'm like, nah, I'll come watch. Like, anything involving some athleticism. I don't even go roller skating. I'm like, I'm done. Typical bodybuilder, don't want to get hurt. Like
yeah, please. Do you do your cardio before or after?
After, always after.
I used to do, so when I was doing the incline walking, I used to try to get like 30 minutes after my lift as well. I mean, I just put it at like, you know, steep incline, just walk, man. Just throw on some YouTube, whatever, and just before you know it, time's up. I'm like, that was a shit, you know.
You saw good results with that, like just to get more steps in.
Yeah, just, I mean, overall, like cardiovascular health too, doing it every day, it just felt good. I feel like recovery too, as far as like soreness, like whether it was like a leg day or whatever, I didn't notice much soreness sometimes after doing those walks, which was nice.
Yeah, just getting that lactic acid out of there. So as long as it's nothing like super intense, super like impacting, you know, low impact. So
yeah, when I used to do the Stairmaster pretty often, I used to like put my phone. I used to put something up on the time.
Oh yeah.
So I couldn't see. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this long for on the Stairmaster. And I would turn it up pretty high, and I would just cover it. And I'm like, all right, I'm not going to look. And then I would just go, you know, just go. And it's crazy, like, the mental aspect of it. Because sometimes if you're like, all right, I'm going to do 30 minutes on this machine, and then you're looking at the clock, you're like, holy shit, it's only been 5 minutes. It's like, so I cover it up, man, and then just go. And then, you know, before you know, it's like you're 26 minutes in. And it's just crazy how much that mental aspect, you know, plays a factor.
It definitely makes it worse, because when I was doing the bike down here for 30 minutes a day, I would like glance at the time. I'm like, damn it, it hasn't been that long. It's taking forever.
Like 5 seconds.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a mental game, but just pop in YouTube.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been like, especially towards the end of prep, I was more like into anime. So like, I'm like late to, not to call myself like an anime like master or anything. I'm kind of late to the party, but I was watching Attack on Titan kind of towards like the end of my prep, and it just made cardio that much easier because I wanted to see like the next episode, like what's happening.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you do any like cold plunges at all?
oh, no.
No?
I heard good things about it. Like, not to hate. Like, I heard phenomenal things. No, I don't like the cold. No.
Do you do the sauna then?
I'll do, yeah. Like,
Yeah.
I actually what we did, that prep where I was getting to that 176. Instead of the sauna, we would take like Epsom salt baths. But basically, my coach was like, "All right, you're gonna heat up this bath as hot as you can take it, as hot as you can tolerate. Put this Epsom salt in the bath, and you're just gonna sit in there and sweat and like die for like 20 minutes just to get the last little bit of water off you." So and that was like, you would think like, okay, that's not bad. You're kind of like relaxing, but when you're sitting there, it's so hot and like uncomfortable. You just can't wait for that 20 minutes to just fly by. You know what I mean? But it really worked though. Like if you're ever trying to, like, I shouldn't be giving away all these like bodybuilding secrets, but like you're really trying to get that water off. And,
Hey,
like,
let me grab my
all the
phone. Let me take
competitions,
some
listen,
notes
this
real
is what
quick.
if you ever want to get like that water, that last little bit of like retention off, that was far better than any cardio I did, any sauna I did, because it's a different type of sweat. It's an uncomfortable sweat that when you're just sitting in like that hot bath water, you know. But that's like the biggest thing we use. I wasn't much into like the sauna or stuff like that, cold plunges. No, it's just sitting in the hot Epsom salt bath.
The cold plunges are something else, man.
Yeah. The biggest thing is your
I've seen
feet.
them, yeah.
You've never done one?
Never.
Never?
Try it.
Oh,
You
you
should
should try
try
it one time.
We can get it rolling if we all run it up. But yeah, I'm not doing this by myself.
Yeah, we all gotta do it. It's like the mind game of it. Like, so I used to do them. So it started for me cold showers, which I'll still like take a cold shower. Like every shower, like towards the end, like I'll just turn the water cold. I've been doing this for probably like 10 years. That's just what I do. Like I'll just end the shower with, turning water on cold, and then I'll rinse off that way. And then sometimes a couple years ago, every morning I was taking like a minute cold shower. I mean, just straight cold. And then I upgraded from that to I bought a I had like this little rubber tub that I put in the basement, fill it up with ice and water, started with that, and then bought a horse trough, filled it with water, and I had it in the backyard. And through the winter time, it would freeze. So I'd go out there in the morning, break up the ice, and get inside.
Oh, man.
I would do it for like 30 seconds to a minute, and oh my God, like there's so many good physical benefits of it, but what I love the most is that mental challenge, because everything in your body is telling you, no,
Get out of
not get in this water.
Man, you're a savage. Like, that's like ice, straight ice, right? Like
Straight ice, man. Like I was like pulling chunks out of the water, like dumping it out of the tub.
It was horrible. He had me do it one time, and man, it was it's really your feet hurt the most.
Yeah.
That's what doesn't stop.
okay.
Like your whole body turns numb, but your feet, it just feels like knives are just. It's horrible. It's awful. Yeah, I don't know why we did it outside. I mean, that was crazy. You get out and you're freezing.
I know. Your skin is like bright red, and you're like, oh my God. You feel numb.
Was it worth it? Like you saw the
Yeah. So I mean, one, I like that, especially if you do it early. I like that I kind of get that mental victory first thing. Like right off the rip, I'm like, I'm starting my day with this win because I don't want to get in that water, and I force myself to do it. And just the way you feel kind of spikes up your like energy levels. You're like, oh shit, because the water is like shocking your system.
Yeah, you're like.
So it's like, you're like, oh hell yeah. You should try it one day. I mean, we should. I think you'll probably step in and be like, oh hell no.
Like I said, I'm not doing this by myself, so it's got to be
We'll do it.
Collective effort.
I wish there was a place over here that we could do it like we were in Florida. We did this like cold plunge. They had these cold plunge tubs. But I don't think there's a place in Michigan where you can do that.
They got to have them somewhere. I just
don't know.
haven't found one yet.
But those are different. There's no ice in there, so it's more comfortable. Like you have these like sharp pieces of ice touching you. But
See, like that's what I was thinking too. With you going in the ice, like damn, you like
Yeah. You're like getting scraped up. Yeah, the tubs are nice. I don't know if you've ever seen them. It looks like a bathtub. It's just like a white tub, but the whole water temperature is regulated. So it's just water in there, but they can set it to like 50 degrees or anything underneath. And when we did it in Florida for the first time ever, I was never able to do this just because I had that tub outside. They had a sauna in the room as well. So we were going from hot and cold sauna straight to the cold tub, back into the sauna, back into the cold tub. And I tell you what, that water, feeling how cold it is immediately after being in a sauna is a different world. Like,
Yeah.
I can imagine.
man.
It's like the two extremes,
Yeah.
I felt so relaxed after that, though. Like, all day I was just
Oh,
like,
I was like passing
I'm
out
ready.
all
I'm
day.
ready to go to bed. You should try it. I mean, we'll
I'll
try
say,
it.
I'll give it a go. I know there's like a cryotherapy place, like towards where I work at, like where they do like it's kind of like that, but like I think you have your hands and your feet like covered up or whatever. But I think it's a shorter duration. You only go in there for like 2 minutes or something like that.
Gotcha.
So I don't know if they have like the plunger or anything, but that's the closest thing I can think of. Something like that.
It was Marquise that was telling us about.
That he was
worried
nervous
with the-
because they say that you can't sweat or something because something can happen. I don't know.
Oh,
He was
really?
like, he was too nervous about it. So I don't know if I want to try that either. But
Yeah, he was mentioning how he was like in there and he felt like he was sweating and he started getting scared. So he was like, all right, he's like, that's it. Let me out.
I mean, it makes sense because it's so cold, right? Like if you have sweat, I don't know.
I have
be
yet to
nervous.
try one of those. I've never tried. Have you seen like the compression sleeves, like the free
Oh,
sleeves? A lot
yeah.
of hockey players will wear them like on their legs. I've always been curious how those are too.
I did like a modified one because I had tore my ACL my junior year playing college football, and like I don't think it was that technology like that exact thing, but it was something like that where you just kind of like had that sleeve, and it's cool. Like it's actually more of a comforting thing than like you getting fully submerged in like ice or anything like that. So that was actually like a really cool experience for me
Gotcha.
when I had to do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never tried that at all. None of those stuff.
Like none of it.
I see a lot of football players. I remember when I was in high school, a lot of people would be doing that.
There's so many different recovery things you can do. That you kind of start getting in the weeds once you start looking at recovery because there's so many things. I was going through a period of time, man. Before bed, I was wearing the blue blocking glasses.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They were like orange. It was like orange. They looked like shooting range glasses.
It was like, dude, you look ridiculous.
I used to every night I get out of the shower, I'd have them on, and they'd be like, "Where you going? The damn shooting range?"
Did they work? Did they help?
Oh my god, I don't know. It's honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, there's so many studies done with the blue light that emits from. I mean, nowadays we have so much light, right? Our TVs, our cell phones, all the stuff that we have that affects our sleep. And I've never been a great sleeper. And so I'm like, well, let me try it. But as far as like knowing a different, I don't know. I've tried mouth tape. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. So supposedly I don't want to get into the weeds with like the whole studies, but supposedly you get better sleep if you just nasal breathe. It has a lot of benefits as far as deep sleep. I mean, even just your facial structure. And they say like you never want to mouth breathe when you're sleeping. Like you never want to have your mouth open. You want to have it closed and breathe in and out through your nose. And I've tried it, and I'll say like I was trying it for maybe like 3 weeks. I felt like I fell into a deeper sleep. When people wake up, when they say they have headaches when they wake up in the morning, they say that's because you're mouth breathing.
Interesting. Okay.
So it's one of those things again. There's so many studies, and people are going to say, oh yeah, it works, and then no, it doesn't work. But I mean, I've tried so many different things as far as like recovery and getting better sleep, like blackout, curtains for the room, the blocking glasses, the mouth tape. I've always been interested in like all this stuff, as far as like optimizing my sleep and just overall health.
How did the mouth tape work though? Like, I feel like I don't know.
So
I'd be like, okay, now.
it's because you feel like you can't breathe or something, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit. So it came in a little package, and you take one out, and it's this little like soft material, and you would put it on. And honestly, at first I'm like, oh hell no. I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I feel like I'm being suffocated or something.
Yeah.
But you get used to it, and it kind of teaches you how to just, like simply rely on nasal breathing. But one thing I was noticing that would suck in the morning was my mustache. When I go to take it off, I was like, oh, I'm like ripping it off my face. I'm like, this is painful. I gave one to Ethan one time to try it.
I took that shit off
He
in
took
10
it right
minutes.
off.
I was like, I'm not
He
doing
wasn't
this.
messing with it.
Well, what if your nose gets stuffy when you're sleeping? What if like your nose is clogged? I don't know.
Yeah, then you.
Then
Yeah.
you're screwed, man. Death by mouth tape.
No, yeah, I'm not. I wasn't doing that. I was like, no.
Are you like how is your sleep? Do you sleep pretty well or?
I sleep really good, thankfully.
Yeah,
like
man.
my whole life.
Help me out. Help me out. Here.
I think maybe
You know
you try
what it
too many
was for
things
me?
to fix it. That makes you not sleep good. I think you're too worried about it.
that's what I was gonna say.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That could be it. So I get in my own head and I'm like, I don't think this is working. And then I'm laying there, I'm like, I don't think this is working.
I just gotta like shut down like all the just.
What time do you usually go to bed?
Damn, it kind of depends. Well, pretty consistently like 11-ish.
Okay.
Because I train in the morning. I train in the morning.
Mhm.
So like I try to get at least like that 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
But during prep, I was out. Like when you're on like 0 carb, 50 carb, like as soon as that your head hits the pillow, you're gone. So,
Yeah.
like,
And are you an early morning person as far as working out? Like
Yeah,
You always
I've-
train in the morning?
I've always kind of liked working out in the morning, and with my schedule and everything, it just fits better because there's usually no one at the gym. I do content, so like me, like having like an empty gym to record has always been like best for me. And then
Yeah.
just beyond the social media, just my performance has always been better in the morning. Just like a little bit of food, have my pre-workout, and I'm ready to go. If I have like, this could be like even suboptimal to most people, but like if I have too much food and like it's kind of later in the day, I've been up for like 8 hours. Like I don't know. I just feel like super sluggish is not a good session for me. But if I can wake up, have me a little bagel or something, get that pre-workout in me, then I'm just a lot stronger.
Do you ever train fasted at all, or have you ever?
Never resistance training.
Mm.
I'll do like some fasted cardio towards the end usually of my preps,
Yeah.
but never trained fasted, like fully fasted. Never ever. Even though I've heard like great things about it, people are doing like the intermittent fasting and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I just knew that wasn't for me because I wake up hungry, so me not having anything, I'm just not a happy camper.
Right. You usually have like something small, like a bagel or like oatmeal or something like that when you work out in the morning.
Yeah, something like that, like fast digesting. Not so much oatmeal, more so like that bagel, like a crispy treat, just something like quick sugar, then basically just ready to go. So it's almost, I guess it is similar, like the empty stomach, but having that little bit of sugar and like carbs goes a long way than not having anything at all right before your session. Especially someone like me, like I train pretty high volume, so my actual training session might take like 2 hours, and then me doing like cardio on top of that, that's another 30 minutes. So I'm at the gym 2 hours and 30 minutes. So if I didn't have any food upon waking, like that's a long time to not eat essentially. So
I've had some training sessions. It's weird. It's like up and down for me. There was a period of time, I think back in like 2019, I was training fasted every day, and it felt pretty good. I mean, still to this day, like just because of like, I don't know, like my schedule, like if I got something going on, I want to hit the gym early and I don't have much time later in the day. There's been times I'll go and train fasted. I feel pretty good. I've actually hit a lot of my PRs fasted, believe it or not.
oh wow, hell yeah, okay.
And I don't know what it is. I mean, sometimes if I do it later in the day, I kind of feel like shit. I kind of feel sluggish and everything. But there's other times, I mean, I feel great. And I probably have like some black coffee in me. That's it. And I don't know the whole science. I don't know the whole like science behind it. Every day is different. Sometimes I'm like, wow, like I'm feeling great. Just had a little bit of black coffee. I'm good to go. Sometimes I feel horrible. I don't know. Maybe it's like what I consumed the day prior, kind of, providing some of that energy, depending if it was like a, higher carb day or something. I have no idea, man. But yeah, I've done fasted training a lot.
Yeah,
it's weird.
I've done it a few times. Like I feel good every time I do it, but I've also trained on a full stomach. You know that. You don't know how I do that, but
he eats and then can train right, like he's ready to go to the gym right after a full meal.
No way.
I don't know.
I'll be right to the bathroom.
Yeah, he'll have like a Chipotle bowl, and then like 5 minutes later, he's like, "Let's go."
Way.
He's like, "Let's
With
go
the
to the gym."
beans
I'm
and
like,
everything?
"Yeah." I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude?"
I don't know about Chipotle. I don't do any pre-workout at all. I just don't. I just have coffee in the morning, and that's it, really. I don't know.
All natural.
I don't know. I just don't. I feel like long term.
He's scared
I'm
of the
not
caffeine.
I was gonna say that's what it sounds like.
I just feel like long term it can't be great for you. It's got to be like energy drinks or anything.
Well, I need the cat. You need it now for that training session, you know. So it's like, who cares?
I don't know. I feel
Who
like I
cares
wake
about
up.
it?
I wake up anyway. I wake up anyway when I get to the gym and I start warming up. Like I wake
Not
up.
me.
Hey,
I used to
you're
go
real.
there right after work. Used to be like falling asleep on the way there. I'd get there, do a little warm up, and I'm awake. I don't know.
Not I, man. I need that caffeine.
I was just like,
I need the caffeine.
But we train, or at least I train late a lot of the time, so I don't want caffeine because I won't be able to sleep. So that's the biggest thing.
Later in the day. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Because we usually train in the evening most of the time. At least I do. But yeah, I've noticed when I used to take pre-workout when I started, and I would have more trouble sleeping. So maybe that's why you can't sleep. But yeah.
Whatever.
Black coffee, yeah.
It has some diagnosis here. Huh?
Yeah.
It's not the caffeine. No way.
It's not the caffeine, man. It could never be. It could
can't
never be. Dude, I was bad when I was like telling you I was like around 200 pounds. I was horrible with caffeine. Like me and a buddy, we would take, oh my God. Do you remember like those Monster Hydros?
Yes.
Those like Monster
Yes.
waters.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was it was either one of those or a Monster energy drink mixed with a scoop of pre-workout. Mark's like, what the?
He's doing a heart PR today. That's what it is.
I can dig that. Yeah, like on prep, I'm a big caffeine person. So like my pre is like 400 milligrams.
Yeah.
And I'm a trainer, so like I'm kind of running around all day. So I have like another like rain or a ghost during the day. So like my intake is pretty high actually. I shouldn't really be like judging or anything. So I'm usually like 600, 800 a day for the most part. So
we used to take this pre-workout. It was like Rich Piana's 5150.
Yeah.
500
yeah.
milligrams of caffeine.
I know about that. Yep.
I was like, hey, I'm about it. I saw the 500. I'm like, that's what I need.
With the beta alanine.
Yeah.
Good itchy.
That's because I notice a difference still. Like I know people are like, oh, it's like placebo, like you just kind of want the sensation. But no, I feel like if I don't have it, like that energy is just not there. Like I almost kind of need it at this point, like for each session. And I know that's probably like not a great thing to say. But I think Jay Cutler, one of those bodybuilders, like you shouldn't take pre-workout every day. You have to take pre-workout every day. Like you're not training. You're not really serious about it. I'm like, that is bullshit, bro. Like I need that.
Like I gotta feel something, man. Like that beta alanine. Once you get them tingles. Are you
That's
about
what-
that?
yeah,
Do you like
yeah.
those tingles?
I love it.
See?
Beta
Oh,
alanine,
yeah.
all that. Run it up.
Yep.
Load it up with that stuff. I'm ready.
That's how you know it's working, right? You feel it. You're like, okay, like I gotta work out now. I feel it in my body, my feet, my hands, my forehead.
Oh my god.
Skin tingling, right? Yeah, you know?
It's great.
I'm scared I'll try it, then I'll get addicted to it like you. So then I'll need it.
That's okay. Join the party.
Yeah.
It's fine, man. It's a simple life. You just little scoop right before you train. It's fine. Enhances
Good to
your
go.
workout.
Do you guys do the salts, like the smelling salts?
Yeah, these are dead though. These don't work
Yeah.
anymore. But yeah, I'm big onto these too, man.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
Heavy
do those.
lifting, and I used to have the ones that came in. It's the same like bottle like this, but they were the crack ones. So like the little
Yeah,
packet.
okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't
Which
know
actually
what
I
the
haven't
name
used
is,
them in a while. But
Oh, so, okay.
We do them at the end of every episode, but these are kind of weak now, so yeah,
Oh,
we haven't really been doing them, but
Yeah,
that was
maybe
a
more.
little thing.
have you ever
I
used
used
these?
to use, like whatever Juji Mufu is like.
Oh, the
You remember, does he still make it? I don't even. Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, I think that
the
was. It.
right?
They
I
used
don't
to
know
have
if
an
he still makes
RGB
it.
like at the front desk, so like
Yeah.
I never bought any, but like it was already there, so I used to run that up a lot.
I heard that's like one of the strongest ones.
As soon as you open, it's like in a bag.
Yeah.
So it's in a bottle in a bag, and without opening the bottle, when you open the bag, just a crack, like it just all. That's like
Yeah.
you get a full whiff of it.
That's how these would come. They would come in a bag, and I swear you could literally take this out of the bag and just smell the damn bag.
Yup.
Yeah.
100. Yeah, it's like a big release. As soon as that
Yeah.
bag goes, all right, I'm ready to go.
You know they're the real deal when it's just a bag.
See,
Yeah,
that's what I miss about those crazy like garage gym
Yeah.
powerlifting sessions is, we'd be going for like 4 something on deadlift, 5 something, whatever. And then you're just strapping up. You got some music blaring and you tell your buddy like, hey, hit me with the salts. And you're strapped up on the deadlift
It's
bar and
right,
he's
yeah.
coming right in front of you.
They work though. They
Hell
work.
yeah, they hype you up, dude.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
It's
do
cool that you
those.
still
That's
have
good.
like those gyms like that. I know they're like few and far between, but like having like RTB and like some places where it's like everyone in there's legit. Like it gives you a
Yeah.
just like energy boost, and then people are like watching you train and like, all right,
Yeah.
like you're rooting you on and
Yeah.
everything. But like most of the global gyms now, it's like, okay, well, Sally Soccer Mom's over here doing whatever. Like that's not going to
know.
motivate me.
I
Yeah.
know that's the problem, man. Is that like that line between the gyms right now? It's just like you got like that hardcore like style. Everybody's in there, you know, putting the work in, and then you got like these other ones, these modern ones where you feel like you got to tiptoe around, like you're walking on eggshells. You can't do anything. Like they probably don't even have music playing. And it's like how do you expect me to perform in this environment?
Honestly,
That's the biggest thing we talked about all the time is that there's not a lot of gyms around here other than RTB that's like that, you know. That's why, you know, we've talked about before we wanted to open up a gym one day in the future and cuz it would be like that, kind of like that music bumping and everything.
yeah, hell yeah, sign me up.
Yeah. Cuz half of these gyms though, man, it's just like these bars are like they suck. Like they're slippery, they're dangerous. They are.
Honest, yeah,
Like no
yeah.
knurling. Yeah, but
Especially
you
like
know,
someone trying to
RTB's got
train,
great
like
stuff.
serious like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
having a slick bar that like spin like an Olympic bar that like spin
I
on
know.
you. Nah, bro. Take me to squat with this or like
Yeah.
bench with this as it's rolling out of my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
There's a gym. There's one that we have been going to for a while, for some years now, and their bars were absolutely horrible. But it's a non-profit, and so a lot of their bars were like, there was just like no knurling. Like I just can't even explain it. There was no knurling, and a lot of them were bent. But they finally invested, and they ended up getting like 7 or 8 new Rogue power bars.
Oh, wow.
Super
Okay.
sharp knurling, everything. And I just walked in one day and I saw it. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, hell yeah. Like literally just having these bars increased the value of this place tremendously.
Honestly,
Yeah.
they were 0 to 100. Like with the
Yeah, just with the bar. I'm a big gym nerd, man, as far as like gym equipment. And like, I'll go to a new gym and I'll just start looking at the equipment. I'll look at the bars and the brands and I'm like, oh, hell yeah. Like they know what they're talking about.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
I feel like it's
Especially
super
the bars
important.
alone. Like you go to a gym where there's a legitimate like Texas deadlift bar.
Yeah.
That's few and far between now. Or you have a squat bar, like something that's not gonna like wobble as you're going to the top. Like because like the equipment alone, like the machines, all right, whatever. But like those bars or like RTP has dumbbells that go up to what 220 pounds. Like,
yeah.
gyms don't have that. Like it's not not to say I'm using that, but like just having that there, like it's a different vibe. And I'm thankful that I'm like close downriver because I know a lot of people that love to go to RTB, but they live like way out in like Pinellas. So it's like having that kind of nearby it's been a blessing. Having a place like that.
Definitely, man. I like seeing that too. Like when I go into a gym and I see like either a Texas Power Bar, deadlift bar, or Rogue bars, I'm like, my first thought is, okay, the owner knows what he's knowledgeable. He knows what the people want to use, and he knows what's good for the gym. Because it's a simple investment. If you own a gym, right, and you could just invest into it, one bar, one like branded bar, and it's like I guarantee you that's the one that everybody's going to want to use.
100%. Especially anyone that's like serious, but the problem is like not a lot of people are serious. You know, like for the grand scheme of lifters, like people aren't really worried about the bar. They're like, okay, I'm just trying to do whatever. Let me not get hurt.
Yeah, they don't know the difference. They haven't gotten to that point. They're like, what's the difference between that bar and that? I'm like, just feel it.
Right,
like,
look at it. Yeah,
just look at it, man. Like, look at the knurling.
So do you prefer to do like a deadlift bar when you deadlift or a straight bar?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Oh, man, I prefer a stiff bar, man. I know it sounds crazy, but there's something about I don't think I have, because I have a deadlift bar in the garage. I don't know if it's something about the whip or my stature. Being shorter or what. I don't know, but that whip up at the top gets me every time.
No way.
And then I can throw the same weight on a stiff bar, and it feels easier to me for some reason.
More so the top, you're saying? Like,
yeah.
Because I noticed for me, I'm pretty quick off the floor already, and then when you have that whip, if I can get it to my shins, it's going.
Really?
Like, with that, just that little extra. Yeah, I've taken my deadlift from like in the 7s to like the max I pulled when I was like super heavy was like 745. Just having that whip,
Whip. That's why I've always been curious about it, because a lot of people I know like that's basically how it is. The deadlift bar is meant for that, and you're going to pull more. but it doesn't feel better for me for some reason. I don't know why. It's got to be my form, my technique or something. I probably got to work on it and like practice with lighter weight. But I've also heard that as far as the deadlift bar goes, you don't really start feeling the difference until you start reaching like 500 and on.
That's true. Yeah.
Like a lot of people say like 405 and under, it's the same. You know, like
it's not gonna. There's no slack. There's not enough weight on there to
to
notice
feel
the
difference.
Mm.
Yeah, there was like many times I remember you going for a PR and you used the deadlift bar and you didn't hit it, and then you do the stiff bar and you hit it.
I don't know. I don't know what
That's
it is.
Wild.
It's weird. Do you use a squat bar when you squat?
I do. Mm.
Okay. I have one from Rogue. It's like the whole bar is knurling. The whole entire thing is knurling.
Yeah. Is it
All the way
longer
across.
too?
Yeah.
Like a longer bar.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a game changer.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's 55 pounds, right?
55 pounds.
Yeah, it's 10 pounds.
Yeah, boy, it's
so
heavy. Yeah, it's heavy.
Yeah.
That's a straight weight. Like there's
Exactly.
no whip. You get down in the hole and that weight, I mean, it's just horizontal. There's
Nothing
no
is
bend.
moving. It's like there's no.
We drove 2 hours ago, grab that. It was in Grand Rapids, right?
Yeah.
That's where it was.
Oh hell yeah!
Back to when
What's the brand on it?
it's a Rogue.
It's Rogue. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was talking about being a gym nerd with equipment, man, I'm the guy that drives 2 hours for a bar.
Yeah.
And that was at the time when you had a smaller car, and it was just like through the front. It was like next to us.
Yeah,
and
I used to do that. I used to take one of my bars to the gym, and I had a Chrysler 200 back in the day. And so what I used to do is I'd pop the trunk, and I'd put the bar through, and then
through the back.
through the back, and I'd be driving to the gym, and like right next to me, near the center console, was the end of the barbell.
That's legit. That's what's up.
That was me, man. That was me going to the gym, right? I got the bar in the center console. I just took like a scoop of 5150. I'm on like 500 milligrams of caffeine. I'm ready to go deadlift.
Seeing you like driving that in traffic, like damn. You know where he's going.
Yeah.
And I park, and then everybody sees me pulling it out, and I'm shouldering it, and I'm walking in the gym. What the hell?
You
Is
had
he
to
stealing a barbell?
Pulling that bad boy out, having it on your shoulder.
Yeah.
As you're walking in, like hell yeah, I'm ready to fuck shit up.
It's funny, man. Like just some of the gym memories and the experience of doing shit like that. It's just- what
Dude,
the
what
things
you
we'll
got to
do
game?
for an
I mean-
optimal workout.
Yeah, hell yeah.
So, Mark, when do you plan on doing a show next?
I'm thinking of for this year running nationals back because I have my natural pro card. It's in an organization called the PNBA. They actually have like a natural Olympia. It's like world renowned essentially. It's like that's one of the like top national organizations that isn't NPC affiliated. So I have it in that, but I honestly want to get to like that IFBB like professional level, and it's cool now because there's been more of a shift to like natural bodybuilding in the NPC. So they have, I think last year and then building on that for this year, it was the most naturally like tested NPC shows ever. Like it's usually it's like NPC, okay, like untested, do whatever, blah blah blah. But like not only is the most shows ever, there's the most opportunities for like natural pro cards in the NPC, in the IFBB, essentially. So
Nice.
it's getting a lot better with testing. They're even doing like polygraph testing now.
Wow.
Which I did my first ever polygraph last year when I did nationals, and that was like the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done in my entire existence in life.
What do they need that for?
It's cool. It's different. I just put it like
That's they like. I'm curious. Like, what do they require that? Like, I don't know. I've never heard of that.
It's I want to say any national pro qualifying natural event, they do a polygraph test. And it's people actually fail the polygraph and then you get disqualified, you know? So it's a legitimate, like they take stock in it essentially. Like it's part of your testing. I mean, obviously there's like a urine test and all that good stuff, but like that polygraph was getting people before you even step on stage, you take that. So you could prep for 20 weeks, be ready to go. You lie about what you were taking and done, you know?
I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah.
Don't break the rules. that would
just,
suck after all of that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's like that's how you go out, the polygraph.
That's yeah. And then like they take that into consideration. So like I think it's you have like a ban from any natural NPC show essentially. Like I think it's like a 3-year ban you get for like failing a polygraph or failing a urine test. Like they take it pretty seriously. I know like NPC gets a bad rap for like, okay, they're like testing, but they're not actually testing. Like, no, they're, if you go to the national level, like they're legit with their testing. Like they're trying to, and I like the direction that it's kind of going, because before it was like, there was no natural show. It was like, all right, if you want to get your pro card, you're going up against the heavyweights. Like there is no, you're bringing a knife to a gunfight essentially. But like now it's kind of, I like the direction where they're kind of like advocating for like natural bodybuilding and trying to get people to stay more healthy, and do it kind of that way. Not to say that's necessarily the right way or the wrong way, like whatever, but do you. But I've always been more of like a natural advocate, because I feel like a lot can be accomplished naturally, regardless of your genetic or what your goal is essentially. But I really like the direction it's going. But to answer your question, I'm doing nationals this year. So
good, awesome, man. When is that?
It'll be November 2025.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's super crazy, man. Like, what are your thoughts as far as when it comes to the whole natural or unnatural thing, and like, you know, a lot of these influencers and being transparent about it? You see that all the time. Like, people are like, "Oh yeah, that guy's on something. That guy's on something." You know, it's like, what are your whole thoughts on that?
How people are, I guess, being more open to things, because it's like you have this influencer who this guy looks up to, and they're like, "Wow, I want to look like him," not knowing that to look like him, you have to do a certain thing, you know, like you have to take a certain substance, all that good stuff. So kind of hearing like, hey, this is not an attainable physique to get naturally, like from people. I feel like that's giving them like a better knowledge of things, and just having more knowledge on stuff usually goes a long way. But it's kind of like counterintuitive at the same time, because it's like, oh, I had to take stuff to look like him. Now I'm going to take stuff. Like, so it's kind of like, influenced. But I feel like if you have like, but for the most part, it's doing more good than bad, with people being more open to what they're taking if they're natural. But anyone like, and kind of like really like full circle, like I feel like anyone that's natural, unnatural, cool, but anyone that's kind of advocating like, hey, I did this naturally and you didn't, like that's what gets me beyond anything. Like, you can take your stuff, do whatever, you can kind of be open about it or not be open about it, but the moment you kind of start lying on like, hey, you too can look like this without taking any stuff, like that's when I feel a type of way, you know, because it's like you're just putting out a bad image or an inaccurate image of what can be attainable, especially in like the bodybuilding community, where it's very social media and like you're editing your pictures and all this stuff. But it's like you're being more open to things is for the most part a good thing. And I feel like this direction that bodybuilding is taking.
And that's the thing with, you know, today is a lot of younger individuals too are so gullible, and they see these things and these influencers, like you're saying, like editing the photos, getting the good lighting, good pump. And then, you know, if they're claiming, you know, I took this or I did that. I mean, a lot of people now are just so impatient, and they want the results now. And instead of even trying, instead of literally even being natural for a year, whatever, like just starting from the get-go, like I want to hop on something. Never worked out before, but I'm going to start, and I need something. And it's like, you haven't even given the gym a shot naturally. Like, what are you doing?
You've been trained for a year. You're about to hop on a cycle? Like, what are you doing?
We've seen so many videos of that, of young kids, like 16, 17, 18 years old. They're like, starting a gym tomorrow. This is what I'm hopping on.
I know.
And I'm like, what are you doing?
It's a lot of ads, too, for steroids and stuff. What is that new one that people were talking about? The I don't know what it's called. It's some little drop or something. I literally was just
you're talking about the SARMs.
I guess. I think it's like
I don't know too much about SARMs.
But just scrolling on TikTok, I'm just seeing this guy like on the live stream advertising. I'm like, oh, take this, and I'm taking this amount. I'm like, dude, come on. You need to talk about like the risks of this and
that's
everything.
The thing too. Like
well, that's what I don't understand is if you're somebody not competing, then what are you, if you're going to take steroids, like what is it for? Like you're just working out and killing yourself at the same time, or you're not working out for your health. So like, why do you want to look this good if you're not competing? That's what I don't understand. Like,
that's valid. That's probably the most valid statement I've heard on steroid usage like in a while. It's like
I just don't understand it.
Like if you're not competing, what's your goal? Like, what do you, like you're saying, you're taking years off your life just to look better, or like,
like just, for what?
Just to look, just to be big and look good. But then it's like, really, it's like, who are you like ask yourself why? Like, who are you like trying to? You want to go around and impress like females? Like, so you're gonna like take years off your life and mess up your health just to look good?
Like I can get it both ways though, because like you as someone that's like an influencer, like if you look a certain way and you're putting out this content where you look like a certain way,
Yep.
you know, you're gonna get more opportunities than someone that doesn't look like they have the same caliber of physique that you do.
Yeah.
But like that's the only other like beneficial thing I could see from, because like the stuff is expensive too. Like if people because there's things you have to take, and then like whatever you take, essentially, I could be like somewhat wrong on this, but from my understanding, whatever things you take, there's always something to take to counteract the side effects. So once you have like these compounds, it's like it's becoming really expensive, because whatever you add, you're adding something else to counteract it. You know, so it's like it's an expensive lifestyle to live in, and I feel like it's, and health wise, is it really worth you doing all this stuff just to call yourself an influencer or do all this stuff if you're not going to take it to the next level and step on stage and compete on a bodybuilding stage or a powerlifting stage, you know?
Right. And that's one thing too, like, you know, just to piggyback off what you were saying, as far as like, if you are an influencer and basically, you know, by you taking things is giving you opportunities for more financial success. And I don't know if you're familiar with Marc Bell at all. He was a big powerlifting guy. Yeah. He's the only one really that, you know, he used to, I think he still does, I don't know, but he used to take stuff when he was powerlifting. And he said, honestly, he's like, it made me a shit ton of money. He's like, being on things helped me have this image, and I was able to train hard and provide you guys with information and build this product. And the foundation of it, I was on gear, and it made me rich essentially. And he's like, that's where I am because of it. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, I'm like, fair enough. You know, like at least he's giving a reason, and it's valid.
I can agree with that, because it does, like he said, I mean, it kind of built like
it built him to where he is.
Yeah. It's just that, you know, you got to be willing to take that risk, I guess, which I don't think I ever would be.
It is a big risk. Like people, I think you brought up a good point about like, there's more knowledge on like people taking things, but there's not a lot of knowledge on the the effects of it, like the side effects. Yeah. And when you're abusing these substances, like these, well, first off, because like steroids aren't legal. Like just being clear, like that's an illegal drug.
Yeah, that's the first
like,
thing.
Putting that out there, like, wait a second. But like I feel like if there was more people like talking about like even like from experience, like okay, I took this and this is what happened, but this is also what happened, you know. And it's if they had more stuff on that, because I feel like people are finding out like trial by fire, like they're taking the stuff and getting all these great results, and then they're getting the side effects after, and they're like, oh, I regret doing all this stuff when I was like 16, because there's just not enough knowledge on. There's enough knowledge, but there's not enough people talking about like having those conversations about like, hey, like you shouldn't take this, you know, like or here's the risks, or if you're going to take something like this, you know.
And that's the thing too, is everybody responds differently. It's like, you know, if you're young, right? Let's say you're a naive 16-year-old that, you know, is just getting into fitness, and then you have this influencer that you watch, and he's openly saying, this is my cycle, this is everything that I took, and I got these results. It's like they forget, like, well, he's different than you. Yep. He has a different genetic makeup and body than you, and it's like he might look great, and then you go and try to take the same stuff, and then now you're screwed. You can't sleep. You have horrible acne. I mean, like, it's like,
you get the
it's like you gotta have some common sense.
I did everything he did. Damn.
It's a wild topic, and it's something that, you know, it's still surprising how so many guys they'll still claim, you know, like, oh, natural. You see some of the guys online and stuff like that, and it's like, man, it's like, all right, I guess.
I always thought like too, like thinking back on like the natural thing, like I get DMs like every day about, because I think on my Instagram profile it says like natural bodybuilder, and almost like maybe not every day, but every week it's like a DM from a spam account or someone's fake account, like, oh, you're really claiming natural, like you really did this naturally, like why are you lying to everyone, like you have, or like be ashamed, you should be ashamed of yourself, like, lying to people, and it's like that's the ultimate compliment.
Yeah, I was about to say that should be just a compliment. Yeah,
like you think that I look like I'm on gear, like that's. Thank you, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I respond a lot of those like, "Thanks, man. Have a great day." Like,
have a good one. Like, damn, nah, I can't imagine what I'd look like on it. No. It's one of those things. There's like some guys, they're always out there that they're always saying, "Do you think he's natural or not?" Like, do you know who Mike O'Hearn is?
Yeah, I know Mike.
My God, that's been a lifelong topic as far as if he's been on stuff or not. And he's like, what, in his 50s or something like that?
I'll just say
This guy's
What do you-
huge, man.
There was a guy, I think I told you this. I met a guy when I was in Georgia, and he used to be a bodybuilder, and he was with him. And he told me, he's like, he's natural.
That's insane.
I'm like, there's no way. I was like, there's no way. And he's like, I don't know about now, but he was like,
I don't know
I was
about
like,
now.
I'm telling you, back in the day, he was. But dude, that dude is crazy. There's no way. I mean, I can't believe that.
Who's
I can
another
see it,
one?
like-
Simian Panda. People used to talk about. Do you know?
Now that's
him?
one.
Yeah.
He's like an OG because like that's who I grew up on. Was like
Yeah.
those like influence like that area or
Yeah.
that era of like Simeon Panda. I feel like Michael Hearn. I saw a picture of him when I think he was like 16, 15, and just looked like a Greek god at like that
Jeez.
age. And his parents are kind of like that same genetic makeup. So
Yeah.
I could kind of see it, Michael Hearn. I can't really speak on Simeon because like, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Those delts, usually that's like the giveaway.
Yeah.
Like, if he is, he's like top of. That's like 1%. Like that's the
Top tier genetics
Yeah.
right there.
Like I feel like Michael Hearn is like in that same kind of category. With that, there will never be another genetic
Yeah, no.
specimen like that. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
If he is, man, that's the ultimate natty. But if he isn't, then it's, you know, what are you claiming?
Yeah. It's like I used to be surprised when people would think Liver King.
I was about to say,
was
Liver King.
Oh
natural.
god, yeah.
I was like, come on, dude. I was like, you look at his mental health, like how he's been acting right now, like
I
the things
know.
that he posts. And I mean, he's just going on rants now. And
Yeah,
it's like,
like-
I feel like what's happening to you right now is a result of what you were taking, dude.
Yeah.
That's it.
That guy that exposed what he was taking said he was, I don't even remember how much it was, but it was ridiculous how much money it was a month that they figured out. I could not believe it. But that's what you were saying too. It's an expensive lifestyle.
And you can even say like, I mean, although he got exposed, like he
Yeah.
kind of built up his
He
following.
did.
Through,
I mean, that's what
Yeah.
he said his plan was, I think, too, was about that, like building up his brand. And that's what he did. I mean,
he
that's,
did, yeah. I mean,
I get it.
kind of a shady way of doing things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey.
Yeah. I get it's just your perspective. I mean, it worked for him, right? He's got like what, 2 million or something followers.
he's set, dude. He doesn't have to make another video.
No.
Anything.
Well, Mark, before we wrap this up, is there anything you'd like to say out there? Any message you'd like to put out?
Not to be cliche, but like patience. Just it's a journey. It's there's gonna be some rough spans. There's gonna be some amazing spans, especially when you first start training. I tell all my clients like those newbie gains are gonna come really fast and they're gonna go really fast. You know, so like it's a long term investment that you're making. It's a lifestyle that you're starting. Be patient. Regardless of where you want to take that bodybuilding or powerlifting or go IFBB, full send, whatever, like be patient with your journey, be patient with the progress that you're going to make. And just kind of like, it is a marathon. Just keep going, you know, just that's the biggest thing is it's going to be a lot of bad before it gets good. So just keep going, keep moving forward. Don't try to rush the process. I know a lot of people do that. Just stay patient with it, man. You can accomplish a lot just sticking with stuff, regardless of bodybuilding, regardless of fitness, just sticking with what you're doing. Like you can just be patient. Like it's not an overnight thing. You know, most great things aren't an overnight thing. So just be patient with everything.
Cool.
Hell
Man.
yeah, man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right, good conversation with Mark. We talked a lot about bodybuilding. We talked about, acquiring some knowledge for us.
Yeah.
As far as, it comes to transitioning into bodybuilding, if we're going to take that approach this year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as always, good conversation. I appreciate having you on, Mark. And we had a good time.
Yeah. Thank you.
We're not doing our traditional ending. I've already told Ethan, I've expressed to him that many episodes ago,
It works a little bit.
we clarified that these do not work anymore.
Just do me a favor and try this one.
No.
Okay. It works a little bit. It works more than last time.
I don't know why he continues to do it,
Got to keep things consistent.
but they don't work.
All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. And, we look forward to this new year. A lot of great episodes coming up, and we got some people lined up I'm excited for you guys to listen to. And, yeah, just looking forward to it. And thank you all for listening last year. We started last year. It's already almost been a year, which is crazy. I can't believe that. It'll be a year in May. So that's crazy to me. But, yeah, thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.